This is a quick tour and walkthrough of what we have on the Thurro platform. This is the typical screen that you will see when you log in into the Thurro platform. You will typically remain logged in into the Thurro platform. I think over a few days is when we implement a logout. So over a 2 or 3 day period, you may once in a while get logged out so that you log back in again. But otherwise, you will quite likely remain logged in. You can log in using your Chrome on your phone also. So the same ai.thurro.com, just go in there and log in on your phone, and you should be able to log in and keep yourself ready there. The same set of things will come through for you. If you're not an admin, then you will not have this admin panel, but all the other panels are here. We keep adding a lot of new features, and so typically you will see either more number of panels come through on the left-hand side, or within the panel itself, you will continue to see more things happen. I'll run you through the panels and the features of Thurro, and then we will go in some detail on the alt data platform. Alt data is broadly the genesis of where Thurro started out and differentiates itself on. As things stand, November 2025, we collect data from some 800 plus different data sources. And anywhere between 25 to 35 million data points on a daily basis. This number only continues to increase as we speak. Among the places from where we collect data, there are regulatory filings, there are listed and unlisted firms that put out either their press releases to exchanges if they are listed, or credit rating reports which get put out, or we will look up the Press Information Bureau. So there is a wide variety of textual data also that we bring to the table here. Right. What you can do when you come into the Thurro platform is, of course, ask very simple questions about a company, one variable about one company. For example, what we have done here is triggered what is the NIM of Awas, which is basically trying to understand one variable, the net interest margin of one company. In many cases, what it will do is it will pick up all the data sets going for a long period of time, as you can see here, where it'll create this matrix for you, give you a sense of where this data is coming in from through these hyperlinked segments that you see here. So when you see 7.48 here, you can right click and see where this data set is coming in from. And this 7.48 is coming from a high quality document, an Awas Financiers document at 7.48. So what it doesn't do is one, hallucinate, and or two, it doesn't pick up from data sources which are not credible. In our data lake, what we put together are highly credible documents. And hence, when you look at any of these hyperlinks, you can, of course, check for each of these. But what it gives you is the comfort and confidence that you have high quality data backing it. It'll give you a quick key insight into the answer that it has generated for you, and also allow you to ask suggested questions in this. Once you are here, you can, of course, tell us if the response is not to your liking. If you type it in here, it comes to the team, which looks at it. Of course, if it's a good response, you can also let us know. You can go back and delete this question if you don't like it for whatever reason. You can copy this content and take it over to your Word document, etc. And or you can edit some of these responses so that if that is what you want to take back into your document internally, then that is something that you have. It will show up as edited. So there is a timestamp associated with this. You can then take this away into a PDF, or you can share this as a link within your team internally or externally with folks who may want to use it. And if there is a series of questions that you have created, or one question that you have created and you want to come back over a period of time and just refresh this notebook, you can just come in and click refresh here. So this allows you to just have a good sense of what has happened in the company again. All of the work that you're doing gets stored in the workspace. As you can see, many of the questions that I have asked, they are maintained here. This is the question that we just asked. It is here. You can come back here from your workspace and see the sort of work that you have done already. Here you see two different types of outputs: notebooks, which is what we just created, and task output, something that we will talk about as we go forward. In a notebook is typically what we call conversational AI. As we were speaking, you got a response. Typically, when you ask questions, you are not asking such single oriented questions. You may be wanting to do a deep research. on a particular sector or on a particular topic, that's when you use the tools, and we will talk about that as we go forward. We've given some sample questions here just to start you with, but the interesting thing here, apart from the question, is also the verbs that are associated. So you can discover new things either about companies or about sectors. You can analyze two or multiple entities. You can prepare when you're walking into a meeting. So for example, we have given you a sense that you can ask questions that when you walk into a meeting with a management, what are the type of questions that you want to ask? You can reason if you have a particular trend that you are seeing. AI can tell you, Thurro Answers can tell you a good response as to what is happening here. You can summarize and you can quantify. These are some of the ways in which you can use AI. This is just to warm you up and give you a sense of what you can do with AI. Of course, feel free to push it forward. One easy way of understanding how you can push it is to go to our library. Once you go to the library, you will find that there are a bunch of notebooks that we have created here already. These are some of the interesting notebooks that have been created just to give you a sense of the type of thing that you can do. I'll open up this one on climate risk and opportunity assessment, for example. As you can see, contents of this notebook, shared notebook, do not represent the views of Thurro. Please double check the information in this notebook is a common disclaimer that will go when you share a notebook with anyone. The people who are getting the notebook will get all these hyperlinks, and they can right click or just click on it and see whether this data set is coming in from from the document where it should come from. In this case, for example, this was a Tata Motor thing. And this is the climate change section in a 600-page report. From page 91, it was accurately able to pick up the sort of data that Tata Motors had spoken about when talking about climate change and heat waves. So one of the reasons why I wanted to show you the library was also to show you the type of depth that you can go into. I will encourage you to go to the library and look at the various different types of ways in which we have pushed our Thurro Answers into giving you more intelligence. Just going back to the climate thing, we started out with a very, very open-ended question. What are companies saying about heat waves? Compare this with the question that we started out with talking about name of Awas, which is a very particular metric for a particular company, right? Now, this is far more open. We didn't specify which company, and heat waves is as general a topic that you want to talk about. Now, what happens in this instance is we try and pick together the top 50 to 100 documents and put together what are the relevant data points that we think, the AI thinks, should be brought to your attention. So this is not fully in-depth, so this may not be fully comprehensive, but it will give you what are the top, at that point in time when this question was asked, what are the top 50, 100 documents and what is it that they are saying. I'll come back to the point about comprehensiveness when we talk about tools and get into the details of how you can use some of those tools for comprehensiveness. So with such an open-ended question, what you get is for different companies, and these are some of the larger companies in the country, what are they saying about the impact of heat waves, and also starting to talk about the mitigation strategies that they have. As you can see, these are all the larger companies and how they are talking about this. I will keep going down. And you can see they range in a lot of sectors. So from agri to chemicals to power, to pipes, etc. There's a wide range that this has covered. And it has given you a good analysis of what it is seeing and the insights, and also given you a bunch of suggested questions. Because, as I mentioned earlier, we also look at the Press Information Bureau press releases. Typically, what the government agencies or the ministries, etc., have also been saying about this topic is something that you get referenced here. This is something that we had done at the start of this fiscal year. This turned out to be a year with lesser number of heat waves, as we know, in 2025, but how the companies were preparing for it is something that we wanted to understand at the start of April. As you can see, it had given us this question as a suggested question: what financial impacts do heat waves have on different industry sectors? If you just clicked on it, which is what we had done then, it triggers this question. It starts to give you, now it has consolidated, instead of companies, it has consolidated into sectors, which gives you a sense of what is happening in these sectors, what are their financial impact, is it good, bad for them, and has started now giving you one or two specific examples. So it's moved from company to sectors as the way of analyzing it. So the choice of words and the way you ask those questions are obviously important. We like to call them questions and not prompts. Prompts is a more technical word that people will use. That is something when we have created the prompts internally, when we communicate to the computer what this question means for you, for them. All right. So when you have written a simple question that gets converted into multiple prompts, it gets broken up into multiple prompts, which the computer answers, the AI answers, and then pieces it together for this final response. I won't go into lots of detail. Again, as you can see, it has gone into multiple sectors, etc. You can read through many of these points. It again links back to some very interesting documents like the economic survey. So brings in a more macro perspective. Also here links back across multiple years. So you can see that these are points that have been important across the years. We used one of the suggested questions to say, okay, then which sectors benefit financially? And as you would imagine, air conditioning, power generation, cold chain, beverages, and ice cream and water management, etc., tend to benefit. So it's able to then quickly move to some of those sectors. So you are now going deeper from a very open-ended question of saying what are companies saying about heat waves. We have now gotten into some of the sectors that can benefit, and then specifically now we are getting into which air conditioning companies and how are they adapting their product strategies, etc. Right. So now we started out from a very broad question. We are now beginning to bring it down closer, and we are beginning to now see what companies are saying, or maybe what governments are saying, etc. So this you can see the government and the companies and how they are thinking about it. Push it further. And I have now changed track, and I'm not going with suggested questions. I have now started using something completely from the world of finance, a Gordon growth model. This is a specific way of valuing companies. And I said out of nowhere that please apply the Gordon growth model to a couple of large air conditioning companies in India. Thurro Answers keeps track of the sort of context that you have built in earlier. And so it is able to then pick up the two relevant companies, two large companies, which is Voltas and Blue Star here, pulled out what are the relevant parameters for building out the Gordon growth model, has given you the formula that it would use and some of the estimates that it would use. You don't need to necessarily agree with these estimates, but at least in the initial answer, this is where it is able to give you the sort of estimate that it has taken. So we have moved again from a very language-oriented question to now a slightly more mathematical question of where we are taking this document. Very important disclaimer, Thurro is cannot and does not provide any buy, sell or hold recommendations. This is something that we call out regularly whenever questions take a stance like that. We are strictly limited to reporting factual information. This is not an investment advice or a recommendation, and this is something that we continue to highlight to our investors that they should take their own decisions. And we are now pushing it further, saying using the data above, what is the equity value of the two companies, Voltas and Blue Star. It begins to do some calculations on the back of this. I continue to push it to say, hey, using this data and the Gordon growth formula, then estimate the equity value. Now we are making it a lot more mathematical from where we started out, and it has started to give you some estimate of what the equity value is. And as you can see, what it has done is given you a value of about 7,000 crores for Voltas and about 3,000 crores for Blue Star, because its estimated growth rate is about 5% for them, and the cost of equity is about 12%. So it assumes that its growth in perpetuity will not be a long one. I'm making it slightly technical to bring out a point that we will come back to later. This again is not a model that you should 100% rely on, but this is directionally starts to give you a sense of how you should begin to think about some of these. Each of these questions would have taken the system about a minute or so to answer. So in about 4 or 5 minutes from when we started out about an open-ended question of saying what are companies saying about heat waves to now, you are now beginning to already reach a stage where you are able to say what these companies could be valued at. Having said that, you saw that we had valued them at sub 10,000 crore rupees. We looked up the market cap then and said that, hey, what we find that the equity value of these two companies is about 40,000 crores each. And our assumption is that the market cost of equity is about 15%. So then go back and calculate the implied growth rate. Right. So you're pushing this document into pushing the system into trying to think a lot more from what the market reality is, and you're bringing market reality to bear here. One of the things that you should know is we are beginning to now add market prices and values into this. So over the next few weeks and months, you will see that this data is available and the system will be able to put this thing together here already. So here we had to give them this information set. Over time, the system will become intelligent enough to say that I have been able to estimate what the market cap is. Now, if you look at what the implied growth rates are, they are almost close to the cost of equity. So these companies will have to in perpetuity grow at 15% to justify this market cap as it currently exists. Is that a right assumption? Is that wrong assumption? Is that aggressive? Is that not aggressive? That is left again for the investors to think about. Again, we continue to add some of these disclaimers. So this is one of the various notebooks that you will find in the library. And again, to recap, we started out from such a basic statement like saying what a company is saying about heat waves and went all the way to analyzing companies and trying to come to a valuation metric. In the notebook library, as you can see, we have done different types of things, analyzing the strategies of companies, trying to understand how they are thinking about the sort of strategic and financial aspects that may be relevant to the company. If you're walking into a management meeting, what are the different types of questions that you can ask? Each of these notebooks will be anywhere between 5 to 10 questions long, and this gives you a sense of the type of questions that you may want to understand and ask when walking into this. Now, in many cases, as you think about these questions, you may realize that you can create a series of questions for yourselves, which you will apply on a regular basis. That's something that we call templates, and those templates are found in tools. So when you come to a template, you can find some community templates. What does that mean? That means that the Thurro team has created some templates that you may just use on an ongoing basis. So for example, if you want to do an in-depth research on a company, or what on sell side would potentially be called an initiating coverage for a company, then you just look at this particular template. This is the community template of in-depth research. If I click on it, as you can see, because I'm an admin, I have the ability to toggle it between a community or my master list. I can make it personal or make it community. As a user, you will not have this facility. I have created a list of 18 questions here. Thurro has created a list of 18 questions here. Whenever you are thinking about creating and initiating coverage on the company, which ranges from give me an overview of the business and strategy to the strategic goals, key locations of plants and customers, key initiatives of the management, what is the guidance offered by the company, who are the key competitors, customers, suppliers, any key acquisition, disinvestments, who are the key management professionals in the company, who are the auditors in the company, have they made any key observations, what are the financials for the last 5 years and the last 5 quarters, what are the growth or change analysis in the financial metrics of the company, what are the concerns that are being raised by either the management or the analyst for the company, what are regulators saying, and what are credit rating agencies saying, and finally, as you walk into a meeting with them, what are the questions that you would want to ask the management of the company. Now, these are 18 questions that we have created. You can, of course, change each or all of these questions using edit. You can delete some of those questions and save it as your own template and keep it ready for yourself. You can also create a summary prompt. So if you want a bullet point answers, or you want very longer answers or long answers, or you want short answers, etc., what formats you want, you can specify them here and keep this as a saved template. Why is this useful? Is because in effect, each of these templates act as your agent. Whenever you want to do a company analysis, all you have to do is call this template. Or if you want to do a draft red herring prospectus analysis, a DRHP analysis, you can just use the template that is here. In some cases, you will find that we have created multiple questions of template. In some cases, you will find that we have created only one question template. And I'll show you one of these one question templates, which is comparing guidance to actual performance. What we've written here is compare the financial performance of the company in the current quarter to the guidance given in the previous quarter or at the start of the year. You will see that the way I have worded this question is I have not referenced a particular quarter, but have referenced a current quarter and the previous quarter, so that this is a reusable template that I can keep coming back to on an ongoing basis. Now, why do I have multiple questions in some and a single question here? Is because you apply the templates to what are called master lists. And again, similar to templates in master lists, you can have your own master lists that you have created, or you can have community master lists. Community master lists are, again, lists that have been created by Thurro. In many cases, these are typically the stock index. So for example, a Nifty Auto index, which has the 15 companies in Nifty Auto, are already pre-populated for you. And now, if you think about these 15 companies and you want to ask the question about the guidance that we spoke about, that what is it that they have performed in this quarter and what was the guidance previously, you can apply it on these 15 companies. So what it does is when you come to tasks, which is nothing but the multiplication of master list into a template, right? So it's a very simple equation. You can come in here, and when you run a task, and let us now do it. Let us say guidance to actuals, and you are willing to take all the reports that are there, alternate data, company reports, economy reports, sector reports, etc. And you want to do this on, let us say, the Nifty Auto companies. It will show you the names of the 15 companies that we saw there so that you are aware of what you are running this query on. The fourth question is optional, whether you want to run it for a few quarters or for multiple quarters, etc. Given that the template that we will be choosing is the one which already has the previous quarter and the reference to previous quarter and the current quarter, it will automatically take only the previous quarter and the current quarter. Here, let us see this. As you can see, I have a bunch of these templates created already, but comparing guidance to actual performance, that one question template, once you pick it up from here, it will repopulate this question here so that you are aware of what is happening. I don't have a specific output that I want, but I could have given them the way in which I wanted this output. I have created this. Now, if you did not want to do this on a master list already, we also allow you to just come in and write the names of 1 or 2 or 3 companies. You could have just done a manual entry here and written those names and run the same guidance. You can just save task and keep, or what I will do right now is save and run. It reconfirms that you're doing a guidance to actual calculation on Nifty Auto, and you will run it. The tasks that are running, which is the guidance to actual thing, November 3rd, that is running. 15 companies, 1 question each means a total of 15 questions plus 1 summary question, which basically means that it'll take about 15-16 minutes to run. And once it is done, you will get a notification here. The other way to do this, which is where, let's just say you want to look at a particular company, and if, let us say, we want to look at a company like, let us say, Zaggle, small cap company, small to mid cap company. I don't need to pick it up from a master list. I just come in here, write Zaggle and add it. So you can now see that that is the company that this thing will run on. I'm allowing it to run it on all the reports, anything that I may have. And I'm going to a template and saying that I want to do the in-depth research, the other template that we had seen, right? Yeah. Now it triggers those 18 questions here. You are able to see them here. Again, it allows you to ask a summary if you want in a particular format or fashion. I will save and run. It tells me that it will run for Zaggle these 18 questions, and it will ask me to proceed. Again, 18 questions plus 1 summary question means about 19-20 minutes. So once you come back after about 20 minutes, or once you get a notification here and on your email, you will see the entire response. We typically recommend that you do either 1 company and multiple questions, or multiple questions and 1 company, because then your ability to comprehend the report is much better. I will go to task and show you some of the previous things that we have done. So for example, I had run the same 18 questions on Bombay Stock Exchange recently on 12th of October. As you can see, it gives me a summary output where it tells me what is it about Bombay Stock Exchange that I should know. It gives me the revenue, the profit, margin, EBITDA, etc. Each of these, again, as you know, you can right click and go into the basic document. It's given me the key insights, business overview, strategic position, the financial performance. It's also added some of its understanding of the financial performance, etc. It's given the strategic initiatives and market leadership. These will all correlate well with the 18 questions that we had spoken about. Look at the competitive landscape, look at what the management has said, what the future outlook and growth strategy is, and what are the risk factors that you need to consider. You can take this away into a PDF for yourself to read at a later stage. It is anyways available in your workspace here. If you remember, what we had seen in the workspace was a task output as a tab. If you go down here, you will find the 12th October Bombay Stock Exchange notebook that is lying here. I showed you the summary notebook. This is the longer form of the notebook where all of those 18 questions have been asked in detail, and all of those 18 questions have been asked in detail, and those responses are mentioned here. So if you want to understand this company in much greater detail, you can come back and read the entire notebook. Again, similarly, you can take this away as a PDF document for you to read. Each of these links that you're finding here will be available in the PDF document also. So now we will talk about alternate data. This is indeed the genesis of Thurro. The idea is that there is a lot of alternate data that is getting generated as India turns a lot more digital. Data is available at a company level, at a sectoral level, at the macroeconomy level, and a wide range of characters are putting this data out, whether again it is those companies themselves, whether they are putting it out on their own, or you can scrape it off the work that they are doing on their digital platforms, or regulators are putting it out, or industry associations are putting it out, or various government agencies and bodies are putting it together and putting it out. And so our ability to look at a large number of different types of data sets, which are not necessarily market price linked or volume linked, which is typically where a lot of financial products have been created, that is just very high. So we will look at anything from the crude oil process to the number of broking clients to the number of dealers that a company would have, to what you are seeing as the new average premium policy, etc. So just about any alternate data point that you can think about, we try and capture. As we work with our clients, we try and add more and more data sets. All of these data sets are out there in the public domain. So there is no price sensitive information, unpublished price sensitive information, or material non-public information that is here. This is all there in the public domain. The thing that Thurro is able to do is to bring together a large number of these data points in one place. We have a data dictionary, which gives you a sense of the type of data sets that we bring to bear. There are about 30 odd sectors in which we go really deep in to collect a lot of this data points, 34 sectors now. And in each of these, you can just type in to see what is the sort of data sets that you have. So for example, let's say you are looking at the two-wheeler electric market. All you have to do is type in two-wheeler electric, and you can see the different types of data points that are already here. We have about 150,000 charts already onboarded. So the data has been visualized and kept ready for you to use. This does not mean that that is the only amount of data that we have. In some cases, we may not have created the data sets already or the charts already, but we will have the data. So if you have any specific thing that you don't necessarily find on the platform, just give us a shout and we will be able to tell you if we have that data. And if not, we are happy to collect that and bring that quickly. The search is very simple. You just type two-wheeler electric and you are able to get these two data sets, both from what the industry reports via SIAM, as well as what we pick up from Vahan. I will go down to Vahan just to show you the sort of depth that we bring to the table when it comes to getting these data sets. These data sets have been collected for a large period of time. Typically, our data sets have been around for at least 5 to 10 years. In this case, you can see this is about 10 years worth of data that you can see here. This data is updated on a weekly basis. This is mentioned here. The units will be mentioned here. These will typically be in lakhs and crores here, or if you're dealing in dollars, it will be typically in millions and billions. The remarks will tell you specifically if there is anything that you need to account for. So for example, Telangana is not on the Vahan system. So these data points don't include Telangana. And what we do is also create an extrapolation for the month. We're starting on the 3rd of the month, so we currently don't have a November data, but by the 10th of November, for example, you will begin to see our estimate of what we think November will be like. That's a statistical model that we'll have created, which will take into account whatever we are seeing happen in the market, and then try and estimate as to what November will look like. Each of these documents will be sourced. You will know where we are picking it up from. You will know when this was last updated. So this was updated a couple of days prior on 1st of November. Quite likely, given the frequency of weekly, it will get updated next on the 8th of November, which is when you will also start to see our extrapolation beginning to come here. Each of these charts has a chart ID. So if you don't want to collect this data either as an image or as an Excel point, but want to pull it out as an API, we are enabled to give this to you as an API. Just identify the chart IDs and we will push it through in your system. For each of these charts, you can set an alert. You can get a daily alert as and when it gets updated. On that day, you will get updated, or on a weekly basis, you will get an update to tell you which of these charts have been updated. These alerts can be managed again back in the tools section. We will come back to that later. Here, you can customize the charts. You don't like the y-axis to be seen, x-axis to be seen. You can do some of those. You want data labels, don't want data labels, etc. Some folks like the y-axis to start at 0. Some folks don't like the y-axis to start at 0. So many of those tools are readily available for you here. Whatever you set up in one chart flows through for all your charts in the system. You can transform the chart. You don't want a line chart. You want an area chart, or you want a dashed line. Lollipops, etc. There are a bunch of things that you can begin to bear so that when you are downloading the chart, you know exactly what you are taking. You can download this chart. Let me just make this into a line chart again. You can download this chart as a PNG, which you can take away into your presentations, for example, if you want, or you can download this in Excel in case you want to do more further analysis. Again, if you find there is a challenge, let us know. We will look at this and come back to you. Of course, if you like the chart, also give us a thumbs up here. Given that we collect data at a very granular level for all the Vahan data set, for example, we'll go to each of the 1400 RTOs and pick up data from there. Your ability to just see it at either comprehensive level, or if you want to go down deeper into a company, is just one search away. If you want to see, for example, what has happened to Ether, you can see the sharp uptick that has taken place in October. Again, because we keep doing this on a daily basis or a weekly basis in this case, especially if you're looking at it from a market perspective, typically these announcements, formal announcements by the companies on their number of units sold typically come either at the end of the month or by the end of the quarter. Here you get a real view of what is happening in the company at the secondary level, at the dealer to the retailer level on an ongoing basis. So your ability to be ahead of the curve of where things are is just significantly higher. And again, when you typed in Ether, not only will you end up getting the overall Ether, you can get it by which state if you want to, and you can go further and further deeper on this topic as you want to do that, right? As we said, we do this for a large number of data sets. So there is, for any data set that you can think about in India, you will get this data set already ready for you to use. What do we do with a lot of these data sets that we collect? We are then able to create what are called nowcasts. And I will use this to give, nowcast. Nowcast basically means that we are able to track a particular variable of a company, which is available more frequently and from an external source, which could be the company itself on its portal, or it could be a government entity or a regulator or an industry body putting it out, etc. And for a wide variety of companies, whether they are in the digital sector like IndiaMart, Matrimony, or OEMs like Maruti Suzuki or Bajaj Auto, etc., or exchanges like Power Exchange, IEX, or companies in the commodities market like Coal India, or in the payment space like cards, or exchanges we have already discussed, MCX, etc. We are able to create nowcasts from them. So on a monthly basis, we are able to get a sense of how this company is performing. For example, and This has been a rocket of outperformance in MCX over the last couple of months. This is the data that we collect on an ongoing basis, on a daily basis, that MCX puts out of the number of trades that have taken place across different categories. We compile them all together and then come to an estimate of what we are seeing happen and what could potentially be the revenue that the company could report. So for example, again, as of 3rd of November, our estimate is that in the month of October, MCX would have netted in about 240 crores already, which is greater than the sum of 2 months that preceded it, in a sense, right? So your ability to go deeper into a company and understand what is happening using just external signals is significantly high. This is something that we have been doing for a large period of time. So let us say, let's just pick up India Mart, for example. Our ability to say that this was the NowCast, for example, a couple of quarters ago, our NowCast was about 349 crores as its revenue in Q1 FY26. The company ended up reporting about 346 crores. Similarly, last quarter, we forecasted 367 crores or so. The company ended up reporting 360 crores. So the total we try and keep, and this is the machine learning model, so we keep training the model every time we get a new data set from the company, which allows us to ground truth this data, which is to align with the quarterly data. We are able to get a very good estimate of the nowcast because the machine learns, the model learns, and does a better prediction. Typically, we end up with a plus minus 2% forecast for about 70% of all the forecasts that we do. We do it not just for individual companies, but we are also now expanding into the nowcast for macro variables like inflation. The food and beverage inflation data is something that we track on an ongoing basis. Again, as you can see at the start of the month, we have already put out our predicted or our nowcasted data of what we think the food and beverage inflation would be, close to minus 4% in the month of October. This is the data set that typically releases around 12th to 15th of every month. Over the last many months that we have done this, you can see that we have been able to get the trend of inflation very right, and both the quantum and the trend of change of inflation on food and beverages is something that we've been able to get very right. This is a sharp number that we are calling out here. So let's check back again middle of this month to see how we have performed here. So these are two important things that you should know, that there is a large amount of alternate data that is available. And on the top of that alternate data, we are able to build a bunch of nowcasts, which allow us to track different companies and sectors on an ongoing basis. Over a period of time, we will continue to add to these nowcasts. Nowcasts are typically a premium product. Nowcast also, you will find them in a color which is different. The chart color is in a yellow color as opposed to the normal colors that you saw, which indicates that we have done some analysis on the data as opposed to the typical other charts in which you just get data from the underlying source. So I'll close out with a couple of other things. I will talk to you about the RSS feeds from 4 or 5 of the leading newspapers in the country. We pull together feeds on an ongoing basis to understand what is happening in the Indian economy. So currently, these feeds are just kept here over a period of time. We will now integrate these RSS feeds into sectoral feeds as well as company-specific feeds. So when you are asking a question about a company or understanding what is happening in a company, you will be able to get a good sense of what is being spoken about that company in media. If you remember from our earlier conversation on where we were discussing our notebooks, we had said that we pick up data only from high quality, credible data sources. When we put together our media document, we will be calling that out as a media data point as opposed to a company data point that has been put together by either the company or the regulator or the government, just so that you know that something is coming in from maybe a conversation that or expectation that the market may have or a set of people in the media may have, as opposed to a document that the company itself may have filed. This is an upcoming tool, so look out for that over the next few weeks and months. One other tool that you should be aware of is called the conference call intelligence. Again, we are going deeper and deeper into trying to be deeper and deeper into the work that typical sell-side analysts and buy-side analysts who are tracking listed companies would do. Once you go in here, you will see that over the last couple of quarters, we have started to now also track the companies which are doing conference call. This quarter, I think we will track close to about 800 companies that are doing a conference call. You can look at the conference calls that are coming in today. So for example, Niva Bupa will do a conference call today at 6:30. You can set up an alert for yourself. You could have been notified at the start of the day today or just before the call or both. Again, the notifications will come to you and or the email will come to you so that you know what is happening here. For any of these calls, once those calls are ongoing, you will be able to log in. You don't need to log in. You just need to come to the Thurro platform and you can listen into the call there. Or alternatively, if after the call is over, you can come in here and listen into the call from here. You have set up an alert for yourself and you can come back and see what are the completed calls. You can log into calls which have been completed. So you don't need to necessarily invest your time at the same time when the conference call is happening. You will get a summary, a transcript of what the people in the call would have said. You can come back and listen into this call. You can listen it to at different speeds. If you click on a particular segment, you can go to a particular place or you can go to that particular segment and see what people were talking about there. For the opening remarks, we create a summary so that if you don't even want to listen to the full call, this will give you a quick sense of what the management spoke about on the call. It will also give you a summary for Q&A. This seems not to have generated now. And from a custom summary, goes back to the same idea of the templates that we had discussed earlier. We've created a con call summary of 7 questions, which talk about the key takeaways, the key segments, the key commentary of the management, anything about demand that the management may have said, anything about the capex or margins, etc., that the management may have said, any other qualitative insights and any concerns that may have been highlighted either by the management or the analyst. This is a summary that of questions that we have created. Again, feel free to edit them or remove them. And if you generate a summary here, in this case, we've created an output style guide also where we've said that each of them should come as section headers. These 7 points should be section headers with bullet points under them. So when you generate this summary, what Thurro Answers is doing is reading through the conference call transcript that got generated and it will create a summary. So especially for those folks who need to report back to clients on what they heard on the conference call, this is a very useful tool for you to generate this summary. So for example, you can just come in here to figure out that for this company, the revenue increased 19%, EBITDA grew 67%, and profit after tax surged. What are the segment-wise performances, India, US, UK, etc.? What are they saying about cost and margin? What are they saying about demand? And what are their guidance going forward, etc.? So it's 7 questions that we had asked. Each of them have been answered here. So your ability to quickly come up to speed on what is happening in that company is high. This is something that you can familiarize yourself in conference call transcripts, conference call intelligence. As I said, currently we will be doing about 800 calls this quarter. Quite likely we will go to 1,000 or higher going forward by the next quarter. Alert management goes back to whatever frequency of alerts that you may have set for yourself. You can come back here, you can change those alerts. I've set some 7 alerts for myself and I set up some conference call alerts, nothing in the future. So you're not seeing it here, but if I had set any of them, they would have come back here. You can see that my notification number has increased. The guidance to actuals notebook has now been completed. It was done about 6 minutes ago. So if I come back and click here, for each of these companies, you can see that for Q1, for which it would have received this information, it will tell you what the revenue growth is and what the profit growth is and what the guidance status was if there was a margin, if there was a guidance number associated with this. In cases where it is, it will tell you whether it has performed in alignment with that data point or not. In each of these cases, you will also have a detailed notebook. So it will run that question on an ongoing basis for all the 15 companies that we have discussed. Compare the financial performance of Ashok Leyland against its previously announced guidance. It will put together the actual and it will try and find out if there was a guidance. If there was no guidance available, which is what is the case, it says that they haven't given a specific guidance, but what you will then get is the actual performance. So in some cases where the answers exist, it will give you that answer. In cases where that answer doesn't exist, the system will not hallucinate and create its own guidance and give you a response from there. So this is where we have come to the close of most of the conversations here.